Our next speaker is here in person, Mona Lisa. Her title, Great Work. Great work. Please welcome Mona Lisa.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. How many of you out there like a good story? Good, because I have one that's dear to my heart that I would like to share with all of you. But I especially want to share this with those writers out there that, one, may be lacking faith in their ability to write. Two, those of you that think I'm too old to be an author at this point in time in my life. And then there are those of you that don't feel their writing has any value to anyone else other than themselves. So I want to tell you about this little girl, bright little girl, who moved so many times before she was the age of 9, she stopped counting. But then something wonderful happened. Her parents bought a home, and she was able to start dreaming again and start fulfilling her dream of becoming a great writer and speaker. The first year in her new community was wonderful. The second year even started even more amazing until the speech contest. Yeah, there was a speech contest. It was for the person that was going to deliver the 6th grade speech. So there was this big competition. But you know what? The little girl won the best writer category and the best speaker. So everyone was getting ready to go to the auditorium for the final competition. And her teacher, the teacher that she loved and respected, said, wait, don't go with them, just wait. So of course, she believed her teacher wanted to give her some last minute tip on how to do this great speech that she had written. But that wasn't the case. The teacher proceeded to tell her, you will not be delivering the speech. And she turned and walked away. The little girl was hurt, but she put on a brave face. She joined her classmate like nothing was going on, but she couldn't hold it together. And so she got disrupted and got put out of the auditorium. So there outside on the cold concrete ground, she sat listening through an open window as someone else gave her speech. Now, she didn't say it out loud, but inside, unconsciously, she vowed to never speak or compete again. But you know what? It didn't stop her. She went on, she graduated from college. She had a prestigious career as an international banker. Then she changed career and she got into information technology and had this wonderful lifestyle. Things were wonderful for her. Now, when she was about, I think, 50 years old, she decided that she was going to go back to school. Now, I can't tell you that she was going to start a new career because I really don't know. But what I do know for a fact is that one of her last writings that she turned in, her assignment, the professor wrote, you are a very good writer, but you need to stop philosophizing. The woman was bewildered. What does that even mean? All I wrote was what I was thinking and how I felt. Well, you guessed it. She continued to write, but she never showed anybody her writing. She never shared with anybody. Now you might be wondering, was her dream ever going to happen? Here she was 50 years old now. Was she ever going to become a writer and a speaker? Well, before I tell you the rest of the story, let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard someone say, a tragedy or the worst thing that happened in my life really was the best thing. I remember reading about this teenage girl who, through a failed suicide attempt, lost her leg. But she said, I became the best person I could be after that. I went on to find true happiness. That doesn't even make sense, right? But for this woman in the story, that's what happened to her. She had some tragedies that happened. It was 6 months after she had turned 60. It was April. The year was 2011. And within a span of 10 days, she lost an uncle. She had to get a restraining order. She had to deal with the sudden death of her husband, which also meant the refi wasn't going through and she would lose her home. Now that's enough for anybody, right? Unfortunately, there was one more blow that this woman would experience. At the age of 61, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. What did she do? I'm happy to say she got her fight back. And she started saying to herself, I'm not going out like this. I am not going out like this. And what that meant for her was, I will not die without ever becoming a writer, an author, or a speaker. So what did she do? She beat breast cancer. She moved back to a previous home that she had, and she got involved in her community. Then she found a writing group, and the people were so encouraging. They motivated her, something she had never had before. And one of the ladies in the writing group told her about a Toastmaster meeting and invited her to it. She fell in love with the members of that group. And after 55 years of never speaking publicly, she gave her first icebreaker. And she went on to write and deliver and her area speech contest, all in 1 year. Some of you might have guessed by now, that little girl, that woman, that was me. And at 72 years old, I published It Matters Who Gets the Glory. And at 73, I stand here giving a speech at the Inland Speakers Bureau. So for all of you out there that have limited yourself or allowed others to limit you, I say stop it. Just stop it. Get around people that will celebrate you, that will encourage you. And for those of you that think your writing isn't worth anything, if you publish it, I promise you, I will buy a copy. And I don't believe I will be the only one. Now, right now, that would have been the end of my speech. I gave you the call to action. I've addressed the people I said I was going to talk to. But then I realized there was another important group that I need to say something to. I need to say something to those of you, and I include myself in this too, those of you who are so busy doing good work for everybody else that you don't have time to do your great work. My book, did I have a big book signing No. Did I go on social media and share what my readers were saying about my book? No. You know why? Because I was too busy helping everybody else doing good works. And then it was brought to my attention, if you don't promote your book, who will? And those that need to read it won't hear about it. So my farewell remarks to all of you writers, wannabe speakers, don't do so much good work that you don't have time to do the great work, what you were created to do. Thank you.